Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Chakadash. I want to say double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in most truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shaman. This week's topic is going to be entitled Rumble in the Proverbial Israelite Jungle, right? Rumble in the Proverbial Israelite Jungle. This is inspired by the situation that happened with the ISUPK and IUIC. They had a open up camp literally adjacent to each other, and they both had the microphones. Things got rowdy, things got testy, right? And it went carnal, you know. Now when you watch a video, it looks like the ISUPK camp was more on the offensive, right? The guy pushed first or whatever, and the to the IUIC credit, all right, they were on a defensive stand and they never gotten too niggerish with the point they was like jumping guys or whatever like that. They were more like from a defensive, just subduing the dudes and holding them down and shit. But what they both went off at was they were like fighting for their spot on the street, like with some sort of gang or some shit, like this is our spot. Like, no, man, you could always move, you know, because at the end of the day, we have to stick to the scriptures. And if you are two different camps teaching different things, right, y'all shouldn't be surrounded with each other, because scriptures speak about giving the righteous a diligence to know the state of thy flocks, all right? So you should be concerned about who you're teaching. And when you're teaching somebody with different ideologies, guess what's going to happen, right? You're going to confuse that individual, right? So with that said, I'm going to read I'm going to read Leviticus 19 and 19. It says, ye shall keep, Leviticus 19 and 18, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. It says, verse 19 now, ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind, right? So, and I'm gonna bring out why, you know, I'm bringing out that scripture is because the Apostle Paul would later refer to this law, okay, speaking about being not unequally yoked, right? Because it was a thing of the heathens to yoke together like a camel and an oxen, which they're not equal. They're gonna plow differently, right? It says, thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. So you're not supposed to mix your cattle together. You're not supposed to mix seed together. Neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woolen come upon thee. So you're not supposed to mix fabrics, right? Now, what am I hinting at? Well, you brothers already get it. We're laborers. We're plowmen. We're likened unto oxen when we're plowing this work. Also, we're husbandries of the Most High, which means a seed planter. Now, pursuant to the book of Luke 8 and 11, the seed is the word, right? And we sow it in the world, right? On the internet highways and byways. Now, when you put together a lesson, all right, I'm teaching one thing on the mark of the beast, and you have another person, because y'all both recording, y'all on the camera, people are watching, they're hearing a different interpretation. This is where the confusion lies, right? We're mingled together when we shouldn't be mingled together. 1 Corinthians 1 and 10, you ought to be in one mind. So this is why it is very not productive and counter the scripture, very counterintuitive, to open up a camp and teach with another camp that is not teaching what you're teaching. You're only going to confuse those listening, whether they're listening for the cameras or if someone is coming up and trying to learn sincerely. You do not want to confuse the person, because the scriptures are telling you, again, you should not mingle these things. Why? Because separation creates order, right? I always give this analogy when I talk about separation. The Lord said we are holy people unto the Lord, right? Which again means separate. Separation creates order. This is how come when you go in a department store, you have categories for things, all right? Everything is not mingled together, right? If you were to go into a Costco's or a BJ's, all right, you have aisles, and within those aisles, okay, the items are separated, the products are separated, all right? Like, let's say you go into the dental, the mouth aisle, right? You're gonna have toothbrushes and Listerines and these things separated, all right? They're not mingled together, you see? So imagine going into any sort of convenience store with no aisles. The items are just put in anywhere, right? You got fucking eggs on top of shirts, just complete confusion, right? This is why you don't mingle things. You separate things, all right, to create order, to create structure, right? This is how come when you wash your clothes, you fold your clothes, you separating your shirts from your pants, from your shorts, from your underwears, your socks, your boxes, and so on and so forth. So when you're getting ready for work, there's order. You know where to find things, right? The confusion will come in, all right, if you just jumble up everything in your drawer. And you know that, right? You know that from life experience. When your dresser drawer gets mingled up with different clothes and everything, and there's no order, you have a hard time getting ready for work and leaving in an orderly time because there's confusion. You don't know what's going on. And that's what that whole scenario was. It was a big state of confusion. Now, one might say, they might say, you know, in the ancient world they fought and shit like that, and the scriptures does say there's nothing new under the sun, right? But here's the thing: when men come together in Yahweh Shah, all right, truly, all right, if you truly under Yahweh Shah and you're all teaching the same doctrine, then guess what? There will be no need for confrontation, all right? Because y'all both know the scriptures, okay? First of all, y'all wouldn't even be in different camps. But again, this is why we tell these guys, avoid the debates, avoid trying to bring every camp together, because it's against the scriptures, okay? This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29, chapter 22, verse 9. Deuteronomy 22, verse 9. It says, "Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard." Here it is again, you know, then scriptures is repetitious, we're repetitious, the Lord is repetitious for a reason. It says, "Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled." See that? So if you're sowing diverse philosophies together, that's a defilement. You know what I mean? Like, that's how come we can't be both having shouting matches on what the mark of the beast is, right? We can't be both having shouting matches concerning the Sabbath. It's just mingled up things together. It's going to lead to nothing but the defiled confusion, madness. So y'all both there with the microphones, and the United States is a very big place. Your state is a very big place. See, these guys had a carnal mindset. You know what the carnal mindset they had is? That shit in the world. Yo, this is my block. Fuck that. I ain't leaving. I ain't pussy. We was here for. You gotta remain spiritual, man. Okay? Because guess what? When you guys do shit like that, they don't say it's this camp and that camp. They just like, yo, these Israelite guys are violent, and it's a bad look. See? It says, "Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard." And the IUIC, man, y'all been getting in a lot of fights lately and shit, man. People fighting with y'all and shit like that. Yo, but that's scriptures. Yeah, but y'all not fighting for the name of Yahweh Shah. That's the difference. Y'all not getting beat up or whatever for the name of Yahweh Shah. Y'all getting into these confrontations which could easily have been avoided with any sort of wisdom. See? Years ago, elders got in a situation with Comfy's camp, but when was the last time you seen something like that happen? All right? Again, because you live and you learn from that experience, okay? And furthermore, those guys came up in a carnal spirit. They did not come up in the spirit of trying to debate the scriptures or anything like that. You see? When the elders recount the story, they even said that. Like, yo, let's go on the scriptures. Them guys like, yo, we not on that type of timing. They wanted to get carnal, and shit got carnal. You know, which again, brothers, avoid of all costs. I'm not saying don't defend yourself. If you have to defend yourself, defend yourself. But being carnal should be the last thing on our mind. We should remain spiritual, because the scriptures tell us the carnal mind is enmity with the Most High. It says, "Thou shalt not sow thy vineyard," okay, "with diverse seeds, lest the fruit of thy seed which thou hast sown and the fruit of thy vineyard be defiled. Thou shalt not plow with an ox and an ass together. Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts of woolen and linen together." So the reason I'm using these basic laws and applying it to that situation is because guess what? The apostles did the same thing. Apostle Paul did the same thing, all right? Talking about being unequally yoked, all right? Yahweh Shai did the same thing of the sewing of the garment, going into like You know, can't quite remember Salakia, but Yahweh Shai, I remember he spoke about the sewing off the garment. I had to reread that verse before I could get the proper breakdown. Right now it's slipping my mind. All right, but they alluded to these things in the laws, all right, and applied them to things that were applicable to their time, all right. In that situation, it's the same thing, man, all right. The mingling of diverse seeds, diverse confusion. You'd have been like, not diverse confusion, just confusion, all right. If you revert back to the scriptures, things being done in decency and in order, all right. And nobody was chasing you off the corner. Yeah, either of you guys have the options to go. It's not like you could say, yo, the righteous fleeth with no man, the wicked fleeth with no man pursueth. Nobody, y'all wasn't trying to push each other off or nothing like that. One of y'all just had to be the more sound and grounded person and say, wait a minute, what we doing is dumb right now. Like, they want to stay here, let them stay here. We gonna set up somewhere else. And you know what? If they're not diligent, they're not gonna be there anyway. You know? Which is what happened with me when I was out there in the Philly camp. The Yahana guys, all right, they weren't diligent anyways, and they left that spot. They had the microphone and shit, and they'll do their subliminals, whatever, but they weren't diligent anyway, and they leave. See? So that was my 2 cents on it while I went to work. Okay, you brothers already know we don't get down like that. Any Israelite groups that are watching this thing, if you encounter another Israelite group and you're not speaking the same thing, don't even do any sort of confusion and confuse people, all right, thinking this thing is like some street gang, this is my block dumb shit, all right, because that just makes us all look bad. With that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim HaKodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim that do the thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.